The Shintaro Higashi Show is sponsored by Judo TV, your premier destination for live and on-demand judo coverage. Never miss a throw. Hakuin AI. Hakuin AI helps you measure, predict, and solve customer churn. Visit Hakuin AI and start your free churn audit today. Higashi brand. Train hard, live strong, wear Higashi brand. All right, everyone, it's a little bit of a different episode today. It is the Shintaro Higashi Show, but this time with David Kim and Peter Yu, and not
No,
Shintaro
Yeah.
Higashi, partially for scheduling reasons, no big deal. But you're just going to get more podcast goodness now that we are dividing and conquering.
Yeah. Yeah.
But, this is a promise that I made to myself a couple episodes ago because I wanted to talk to
Right.
the newly christened Dr. Peter Yu, as he so painstakingly reminded us, you gotta call me doctor now. And I respect that. So we got him back, and we're going to talk about what many call a game of inches.
Mm-hmm.
They talk about judo and grappling in general as a game of inches, or even maybe less. But my question has always been, well, how many inches is it? Is it 1 inch? Is it half an inch? Is it 3 inches?
Uh-huh.
And that's what got me thinking about a more quantitative approach to grappling.
Mm-hmm.
And this was actually inspired by, do you ever remember this show that was on TV? I think it was called Fight Science, but I'm not sure.
On Discovery Channel. I remember.
Yeah. And they had the 3D, CGI.
They had a judo episode. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. Like every martial art they had on there. Like, how much force does it take to break a man's ribs with your elbow? Or, and they would have all those stupid sensors, visualizations of what's going on. I mean, this is an old show. I mean, this is old. I'm sure you can catch some of it on YouTube.
Yeah, the mid 2000s. They had I think the animation that they made about Uchimata is still floating around the web somewhere.
Oh, really?
I see it time to time.
Oh, okay. Yeah. But that sort of was the kernel here.
Yeah.
I saw that and I was like, oh, that's sort of interesting. And as I've gone through life, it seemed like we should have the technology to sort of combine video and even just high resolution pictures with a physics-based model of the human body.
Yeah.
And so the basic idea here is that the way it would work is you can model in gravity.
Yeah.
You can model in the basic environment. You can model the bones to some degree, the elasticity of which way your joints are supposed to move, all that kind of stuff, right? And so the thought was that given certain pictures in a sequence or frames of a clear video, you could then infer the motion the body has to go through to get in those positions. So that's point number one. Point number two would be if you have two of these models, interacting models, you could then do a ton of calculations on what force is being applied to this part of the body, how is the center of gravity moving, for a particular player versus what the other guy is doing. With the idea being you could create almost this theoretical understanding of grappling using a notional grappler at first, sort of the Platonic ideal of a grappler. But then you could change the constraints for a specific person, right? So oh, no, I'm short and fat. I have no flexibility.
Yeah.
What is my sort of local optimum? What game should I be playing?
Oh, so it's more so you develop the understanding of a grappling art, and then eventually you can use it to maybe simulate situations and then try to develop your own style.
But that's sort of the basic idea, and I wanted to run it by my newest PhD friend.
So
newly minted.
So this is so my dissertation was on some how to combine video understanding and language understanding together, and then try to use that. So this is a little different, but since I do work for a autonomous vehicle company, I had to pick a lot of the ideas actually apply to what they call embodied AI. It just means that AI has a body. It interacts with the physical world. but embodiment
And in your case, it would be a
will be a
car
car.
is the
Yeah, so
body. Yeah,
exactly.
yeah, right, yeah.
And then you can kind of like make the line fuzzy, and then embodiment can be like the current buzzword is agentic AI, right? Like
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
and that could be considered as an embodiment too. Essentially, it does interact with an external system, but I think in the strictest sense, embodied AI refers to AI systems that interact with the physical world. And then in order to do that, you need to develop this intuitive understanding of of physics, how
Yeah.
things work. And that's kind of how what you alluded to in this idea, you know, basically like a model of grappling. And then you mentioned that there are two systems that could, one that learns the mechanics, the physics from videos, and another
Hmm.
is more about like based on the laws of physics, and then
Hmm.
basically numerically simulate things, right?
Yep.
So that is those are actually approaches that uh embodied AI companies like robotics companies that focus on learning like based approaches, or autonomous vehicles like famously Tesla uses these two approaches to train their model.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
so basically, just to give you some the reason why, just background on why people do this both ways is because the success of like LLM hinged upon the fact that we had a lot of training data, the text training data readily available on the online. But the problem with the embodied AI is that it's really hard to collect such data. I mean, you would probably,
Hmm.
while you're thinking about this, you probably realize, IJF does have a huge swaths of judo videos, but ultimately videos are harder medium to deal with in terms of
Hmm.
engineering than text. And not only that, it's the volume just doesn't match the textual data. And then that kind of goes to show how incredible written language is. It's like I always try like to say that's like nature's way, like the nature's way of the bet nature came up with the best compression algorithm, really, like to yeah,
Right.
through millennia of evolution they came up with this like brilliant system that could compress knowledge down to very digestible bits.
The first
Yeah,
abstraction.
basically, yeah, and it's incredible. I mean, but nothing like that exists in embodied AI. So, to overcome that, um, one possible way is to create like a simulator based on the laws of physics, like you said, and try to
Hmm.
simulate the interactions, or like try to predict what's going to happen. I mean, the simulations have been used for the long time. That's how we got to the moon, but
Word.
yeah, and then but now the new approach is the other one, the like learning from videos, like data. Yeah,
Hmm.
can we infer that? And
Right.
then I mean, so now, yeah,
Before we keep going though, when we talk about the
yeah,
video and we talk about like two judo
yeah,
guys trying to throw each other, can you like what are some of the when you say it's more difficult, it's not maybe not as dense in terms of
yeah,
information, like what are some of the problems with video that because like some when I think about it, you remember the Matrix
yeah, yeah, yeah,
and they had that bullet
yeah,
time,
yeah.
right? And have you ever seen the rig that they had to set
It
up
was like
to
the
make that shot?
bunch of cameras around the yeah,
Yeah, it was just like a ring of cameras, like
yeah,
360 degrees. And that's sort of what I imagine. It's like you would need to have like a bullet time setup
yeah.
to record something.
It's video is very uh it's a very light information and light medium actually. I mean, it's kind of a paradoxical because there's a saying like what a picture is 1,000 words, a kind of
Yeah,
thing, but it's like it's
right,
actually not that simple. Yeah, like that.
right.
Sometimes a word does carry more information than the visual,
Hmm.
and because of that, we we think that because we intuitively understand the world better, because we spend most of our childhood interacting with the physical world, the best possible simulator, which is the real world.
Yeah, of
So,
course. Right.
because of that, I think visual information is a lot easier for us to digest. And also, visual cortex was developed first before the executive function, right? Like frontal cortex came way later, that like the language
Mm-hmm.
understanding. But so the video, the problem is yeah, that it's not even just like the angle, it's just that it's you basically have to learn the movement of pixels from very similar
Right.
frames. Like if you think about it, if you, I don't know if you like kind of swipe through the video, you'll notice that video frames are very similar to each other.
Right.
And so because of that, uh, there's a lot of noise. So the key is like you have to, because when the conventional way of feeding videos into a model, a deep neural network model is just to give raw pixels values.
Right.
So every single pixel has the same weight, basically initially, same
Mm-hmm.
significance, but the neural network has to learn to ignore what to ignore. And then us humans are, I think, the brain is very like we are born with the ability to kind of ignore a lot of different things,
Mm-hmm.
and we also learn to ignore a lot of things as we experience the world. But you know, it's really hard to teach them from scratch to a system that's never really that's never done
Right.
that. So I think, yeah, in that way, images and videos are a lot harder than language. So
Right.
language actually
Right.
is an easier medium in that sense, I think, because it's so information dense. Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking about more trivial things like how do you tell two people apart? You
Yeah, I mean
know,
that's
the
that
angle's
this
wrong, so
all
things are
I think
occluded. You
those
know.
things are all hinge upon this, you know.
Right. They're all just symptoms
Yeah,
of this basic
and then
problem.
like
Yeah.
occlusion, like when things are, and also you have to understand that like for us, occlusion is easy to understand from when we see in the video because we know what happens in the real world. We understand that
Right.
videos are just a represent 2D projection of what's happening in the real world. So,
Right.
but these systems don't have that at all. We have to kind of teach them, and there are ways people have come in, and we figured out a way to do so. And I can go into details about some of the models that learn this type of
Mm-hmm.
physics
Mm-hmm.
of the world just from video.
Mm-hmm.
But again, you just have to understand that you know, they call it the prior, right? There's no prior knowledge about the world in these systems. These
Right.
are like
Right.
neural networks are very generic. I mean, they used to put a lot of
Mm-hmm.
inductive bias, they say, like try to like they used to use architectures to call convolution neural networks to process images.
Mm-hmm.
And convolution comes from the like was kind of it's not it's just a pure mathematical concept, but it has some bearing into how visual cortex works, the human visual cortex.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so you can kind of see that, oh, it's useful to process images. But nowadays we don't really use I mean, so in certain
Yeah.
applications we still use convolution neural networks, but the architecture we use now are very generic now. Any type of information can
Right.
be. So like mathematically very simple. There's no,
So that
yeah.
so that's what that SciPy method is. Convolve. That's what
Yeah,
it's supposed to do,
convolve.
I
Yeah, that's
guess.
the verb. Convolution. Yeah, convolve. It comes from
Right. I
yeah,
never used it.
it's from yeah, like digital signal processing, and then and
Yeah.
then later
Yeah.
they kind of figured out that, oh, there's some connection relation similarities with how visual cortex works. Yeah.
What about mocap?
What is
What do you think about
motion
mocap?
capturing?
Motion capture
Yeah.
as like a basis for sort of seeding this more physics based model because like we're getting away from
Yeah,
video
I mean
obviously, but
information it's more dense, but it's harder to it's just the quantity is not there. You're gonna hire a bunch of people, you're gonna pay judo
right.
people to wear mocap gears and
Yeah. Well, we're just talking about in theory,
yeah, I
man.
mean
We're not talking about
in
economics
theory,
yet.
if you have the if you can scale up, yes, it'll be to learn
Well, the
about the
idea here,
yeah
yeah, the idea here would be to get almost like a not sort of like a full distribution
yeah
of like everything that could ever happen. It more like templates or like canonical
yeah
movements,
mm,
right? Just enough for to get to maybe some kind of reinforcement learning situation, right? Where you
yeah
have the model, you have enough of these,
yeah.
I don't know what you would call them, templates or something, such that it has enough reference to,
Yeah.
you know, do the simulation.
So so now we're learning that um in order for it's better to have build a model that's has a lot of general knowledge and then
Mm-hmm.
focus on the specifics. So
Oh, so you're saying the opposite?
it's actually the opposite. It's just because you were
Yeah,
focusing on only judo moves. Ultimately, if you want to
yeah,
accurately model physics of
yeah.
judo, you probably have to
Right.
know about the world. I mean, that'll always help.
Mm,
Um, so that kind of goes into like now it's called nowadays people call it world models because you're learning about the world.
mm,
And there are many ways
right.
to teach a model do that. And then, but one way is to one popular way is to have the model predict the subsequent frames.
Right.
And then I mean that's kind of what you're alluding to, right? Like from videos, and then
Yeah. Yeah.
basically through that, and then you just show the model a bunch of videos, and then eventually, in order to be good at predicting, frames that are seconds later, it has to learn about the
The
world.
whole.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And the,
Just like an LLM does, I
yeah,
guess.
it
It sort
is
of predicts that
exactly.
next
Yeah.
word, right?
And
Yeah.
there's a lot of discussion about if this is the
Ugh.
best task and whatnot, and then whatever.
Yeah.
That
This
gets
is
a
all like boil the ocean kind of
yeah, that's
solutions.
kind of it becomes academic, but then I mean, boil the oceans, yeah, but turns out that's kind of like the best approach because the other way is just building a simulator, and then the simulator is kind of getting falling out of favor, falling
Mm,
out of because ultimately it's so brittle. So even if it can kind of account for every single I mean, it's impossible to basically account for every single variable and then predict the next uh,
mm,
frame. So it's actually sometimes more accurate to build a generative video model than
mm,
trying to simulate it, numerically simulate what's going to happen next in terms of physics.
mm,
And I was, we talked. I had been thinking about it before this episode because so that I can
mm.
talk more about
Yeah.
it. But one good analogy is um, like we don't really know the laws of physics. Like we don't have to know all the formula to predict where the ball will go.
Right.
Yeah, so it's kind of like the same idea. It's like so it might be actually more computationally efficient to just kind of imagine what will happen after watching
Just
a
having
like
seen it
yeah
a
yeah exactly.
bazillion times.
That's actually why kind of why we're so good at that because we're always like, experimenting. We always have we always get immediate feedback from the world.
Right. It's like a
So
never
yeah,
ending
and
A/B test.
exactly, and then so I think simulations are. I mean, I based on the public information, Tesla apparently still uses it
Mm,
to, test and train their driving model. And I'm sure it has some utility, but it's just so labor intensive. You just need to hire so
mm,
many people. And it's always like never, like you're chasing the dragon. You will never be able to catch it. You will never be able to. I mean, that's why
yeah.
the physics, yeah, like your idea about like how to guide the model with
Mm,
the laws of physics to learn about the
yeah.
world, or
Right.
at least the
Right.
judo world. So these are some of the things that you might have to think about because building a physics simulator might be a lot harder than just trying to uh, have a model learn from videos.
Yeah, the hope was that it would be kind of the opposite, right?
Yeah,
Because you're going to have this environment, obviously
yeah,
physics based. To get
yeah,
back to the original question, it's like, it's a game of inches. How
yeah,
many inches?
yeah,
Right? Like that should be the next logical question, right?
yeah.
Like how many inches is it? So when I pull on that collar,
Hmm.
the ultimate feedback would be you needed to get under him another two
This.
inches, or you didn't apply enough, right? Like how far is far enough? Did I not, like, his center of gravity didn't move at
Yeah,
all?
yeah.
No Kazushi, right? Like it's putting a number
Hmm.
against the things we talk about in very general
Yeah,
terms, like Kazushi. Like, well, what? I mean, we all understand what Kazushi
yeah.
is, right? But what is enough
Hmm.
Kazushi? Like, and am I even taking advantage of it when I get
Yeah,
it, right? And so, and you can, if you just take that idea and apply it to any grappling
yeah.
situation, right? Because it's all just manipulating,
Hmm.
you know, force here and reaction there, and center of gravity move,
Yeah, yeah,
right? That's basically everything in grappling,
yeah,
right? And then if you take that a step further in terms of whether you're an
yeah.
athlete, you're a coach, you're a commentator, right? Imagine the telestrator
Hmm.
you would have on Judo
Yeah,
TV,
yeah,
right? You could, oh, this is why that failed. This is why this succeeded. I remember we were talking about, I was talking about it with Shintaro once about like sometimes things happen so fast,
yeah,
it's hard to tell what
yeah,
happened,
yeah.
right? Well,
We
with a
can.
model like this, you could sort of infer, like,
Yeah,
okay, well, this is what must have
yeah,
happened in order for that to work. And finally, like you look at an Olympic athlete or something like that, it's like, why is his Uchimata so special?
yeah,
Why is his Osotogari so special? And just like, to use your golf
yeah,
analogy, right?
yeah,
I'm sure they have like golf swing analysis, like, well, what's your swing look like compared to Tiger
yeah,
Woods? What's your swing look like next to Jim Furyk,
yeah.
or whoever
Wow, you
that,
know
like,
Jim Furyk.
Rory.
Okay.
Yeah, well, I'm old, man. I know Jim Furyk. I'm sure they have those
Yeah,
comparisons,
I
right?
they
Like they have a
always yeah,
library of those
yeah,
guys. Yeah, yeah, they have that. You could totally do that
yeah.
in a judo
I think I
in a
was gonna
judo
about to
setting.
mention golf or like skiing, like this individual
Yeah,
sports. It is easier to model, so you don't need to have
yeah,
this learning based methods, I don't think.
yeah.
And
Because it's you're just in
yeah, it's
yourself.
just
It's more of a
you,
like
and then yeah, it's not like a what the second order system, right? Like it's just
yeah,
action
right.
reaction. But judo, it is a
And it's very positional.
yeah,
I mean, like
exactly.
a golf swing is
Yeah.
very positional.
Golf
Yeah,
even easier, I think.
yeah.
Less
I mean, they're
fewer
just literally like
variables.
drawing
Yeah.
lines on a screen.
Yeah, and then they have 3D physics of 3D models of players. Like they reconstruct. I don't know how they really reconstruct. Maybe it's manual, but they actually just have a video.
Is it a marketing thing or is it real?
Oh, I've
Is it
seen it.
basically like a
Like
video
no,
game?
no, it's more like it's like they market as like a teaching assistant tools. Like
Mm-hmm.
some coaches
Right.
will use that as like hey,
Hmm.
you're compare like we model based on the video. I don't know if they do mocap or whatever, but
Yeah.
they construct this like 3D model of your swing and then overlay it with
Right.
someone else's, like a Rory McIlroy or
Right.
something, and just say, hey, you see,
Right.
like you are casting,
McElroy. Sorry,
yeah, casting too
I said
early. You
McDonald.
gotta like keep the like, yeah, I was like that. No,
Thank you
no, no,
for
no,
not
yeah.
calling me out on that, Peter. You're such
I
a
was
polite
I
guy.
thought you're there. Maybe there was a Rory McDonald. I don't know, but
Oh
I'm a
God.
huge McElroy fan. But anyway, see,
Yeah.
so people do that for judo, and then even with skiing, they have that's another sport, individual sport I do, and they do that. But I think with judo, it's like a second order system. So there's action, reaction, and then like that action changes based on the reaction, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So
So it's more
more
dynamic
dynamic
system.
systems. So
Yeah.
I think there's an combinatorial explosion happening. That's probably why it's hard to
Yeah.
model uh
Right.
the actual randori or matches in this way.
Right.
So I think that's why
Yeah.
learning based approaches just purely based on videos, is more scalable and has a higher ceiling, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And
I mean that would be
yeah,
that would definitely be better. But would that yield the same kind of like
it won't be like, oh, inches. I mean, so now so immediate, like say we built video,
yeah, yeah.
essentially a world model for
That's
judo.
more fun. Yes, let's just
So
assume.
that we
Yes, let's
have
assume we
that,
do.
then you could use the system to basically give all the context so far, and then
Hmm.
someone's trying to throw. But then
Yeah.
you can imagine, like you could like basically give the model up until like the execution of the throw, and then say, hey, what's gonna happen next? And then you can then compare with what actually happened, and then you can kind of see where things went wrong. Like that would be like one way to
Right.
use this type
Right.
of model. And then say now the whole a lot another thing, like if we bring in language, maybe we can have the model explain it to us. You know,
Right. But this is my question though. That's protecting. Let's say it's predicting the next
yeah,
24
yeah,
frames, right, or whatever it
yeah,
is. You fail
yeah,
to
yeah.
throw. It seems to me this model would not be able to postulate the reason why, though,
Yeah,
or
so
would it?
then now this is if it's a purely visual physics model, like world model,
Mm-hmm.
it won't be
Mm-hmm.
able to explain it to you. I mean, that's the whole thing, right? Explainability. So now
Yeah.
another approach would be like, for example, like is to overlay some kind of, you know, visualization on top of that. So for example, this I recently learned this. Have you been on a Tesla FSD? So,
No, I have
okay,
not.
so they have, if you turn it on, it drives, and then you can kind of see what the car supposedly sees. Like it has like a
Oh
reconstruction.
no, no, I take it, but I have
Yeah,
seen it.
you've
You can
seen
see
that.
like the
Yeah,
semi trucks
exactly.
going
Or
by. Yeah,
like,
yeah, 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 yeah.
trees
I
and
have.
whatnot.
Yep.
And this is, the kind of like the industry knowledge. I don't actually know if they actually do it this way, right? Like, I don't work for
Mm-hmm.
Tesla, but based on what I gather from, talking to people, they basically have a model with different heads, basically. They call it like a Hydra net, whatever, like the
Mm-hmm.
monster Hydra. So one
Oh
head,
yeah.
so they get the same, all the sensor information gets processed by one gigantic uh, tree trunk, basically. And this
Mm-hmm.
branch focuses on driving. And
Yep.
another branch focuses on rendering things based on like,
Mm.
so now you can argue that it kind of gives you that feedback. So you could, if we apply this approach to judo, we could have this gigantic trunk that process all the videos, and then one head predicts the next 24 frames, like you said, and the other
Mm-hmm.
maybe could generate commentaries or like why it
Yeah.
thinks the throw will fail,
Right.
which is okay, the plausible. Well, so the problem is, so far, these systems, there's no guarantee that the explanation will match up with the actual frame prediction.
Right. Right. Right.
Yeah.
Right. Could be completely
Yeah.
different.
So it's I mean, I think human brains kind of do this too. Like, kind of like we do
Yeah.
this one thing and then we make up the justification after, like kind of,
That is the guy who stole my car.
yeah, yeah. It's
You
just,
know,
just
we do
like,
it all the
yeah, yeah,
time.
exactly. And so
Nope,
maybe
it
that's just a
wasn't.
problem that can never be solved.
Right.
But I'm not saying this approach always fails.
Yeah.
It what
Well, that's the optimization
yeah,
process, right? You're trying to reduce
yeah,
that
exactly.
error
So that you are
in the
trying to,
process.
I mean, I'm sure Tesla engineers and Tesla put a lot of work to minimize that. But yeah, so it'll
Right.
probably have to be something like that. So like one head would predict the next frames, and then another component will try to explain.
I mean, I suppose it would have a notion of distance, right?
Yeah.
Like if you change the scenario a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
possibly, right? I don't know how you would do it, but maybe it's like, oh, if he was 1 inch
Mm-hmm.
in this direction, now what do you predict?
Yeah, then it's like
Right, like you could jitter the input kind of, right?
or
I
you could
mean,
do that, or you could do, the video generation models that are all text conditioned now, so you could describe the change you'd like to make.
oh, now
Yeah.
we're getting
I
to
mean, so that's like kind of the
your
dream,
world.
right? Like, yeah, exactly. I mean,
Yeah,
this is actually, I mean, we've gotten very good at generating videos with text as an input, like a text
yeah,
condition video
yeah.
generation. That's there's been an explosion of things, but applying that to embodied
The
AI.
physics don't look right though.
Yeah,
When you
exactly.
see
I
those
mean,
videos, like
that's a challenge. Yeah.
it's gotten a lot better.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's obviously gotten a lot better. But every now and then you just see like the human eye is so good.
Yeah.
You just like that is weird.
Because we
But
are extremely well trained in spotting these
yeah,
things out. So I mean, that's the ultimate challenge. And but you can kind of see this the way I'm going with this, right? Like a
yeah,
lot of these problems, like autonomous vehicles, robotics, even your idea about judo are kind of related. I think
yeah,
ultimately, if in order to build a robust system, you should probably follow something like this. But then again, if you go into the practicality, like, is it even possible with judo? I don't
yeah.
know. It's like with the videos we have, um,
Right.
you-
So to sum this up a little
yeah,
bit, it sounds like okay, the original idea with a physics-based model, it sounds like maybe technically it might be possible. It just economically would never make any sense because
yeah,
you just would never be able to or the economic motivation to tackle this
yeah,
problem is just so much beyond the
yeah,
probable demand for this kind of solution. On the other hand, we've got this sort of more AI based, text versus video kind of interplay, but that's still it's sort of a little bit beyond a bleeding edge still, right? Like
yeah.
that's still
I mean,
a
that was
field of
my
research and a
dissertation. You
field.
could still get a PhD
Yeah.
with it. That's pretty, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
It's still
exactly. Right.
new
It's
enough.
not
Yeah,
just something you
yeah,
just sign up for. It's like, yeah, let's do
yeah.
this,
It's
man.
you can still get a PhD in the researching it, so it's pretty bleeding edge
Bleeding edge.
um
Yeah, yeah,
and but there's a lot of money going into it. I think that's the thing. I think a lot of these the research, applied research, the application of this type of research goes towards autonomous vehicles because there's money in it. There's
yeah,
there's
yeah.
more
Because even
data.
Boston
Yeah.
Dynamics, I mean, how many times have they been bought and sold by now?
Yeah,
It's amazing technology, but it's just not making it.
exactly. And then it's
And
hard to find a use case. And at Boston Dynamics, they actually don't use this type of method. They're more on the classical robotics. It's very math heavy classical planning. It's algorithmic, and
yeah,
yeah, it's I know they
but it looks so
it
good.
looks good, but yeah, it takes a lot of work to get there. And
Yeah, yeah.
those people are, I worked with some of those people in the classical planning, and they're brilliant. They're like brilliant mathematicians, and yeah, but it it's completely different. Like, I'm not good at math, so I didn't even dream of
The
this. I
irony.
know, right? It's a you don't require, yeah, they have to, like,
You're not good at PhD
yeah,
math,
it's, I
but
can
normal math, I'm pretty sure you're okay.
I guess I could get by.
Everybody listening, do not believe this guy.
That robotic, the math they do is like, you need like tight actual guarantee. You have to
Yeah. You
actually
need to do a lot of
prove, yeah,
drugs.
like, yeah, you probably do, like a lot of cocaine going in there, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, right. Or
Yeah,
something.
something.
Some
Yeah,
shrooms,
for
something. They're doing
inspiration.
something
Yeah,
to do keep that
yeah.
creativity.
But yeah, so it's
Um,
I think that this is, yeah, um but it is viable. I think you can kind of see where this could go, right? Like,
yeah. Yeah.
basically a lot of the capabilities we've seen with ChatGPT along text, and maybe, and
Yeah.
combine that with judo videos, maybe something could happen.
I mean, that would be the dream,
Yeah,
right? Like you just put in
yeah,
a video of your match and it tells you, it breaks down
yeah,
like all the significant situations and this is why you failed, this is why you
yeah.
succeeded,
They get
X degrees or, whatever, you were able to
having a
do this or
personal
that. Like,
coach, basically. Yeah,
yeah. Yeah, that would be the
Shintaro in the
ultimate.
pocket, in your
Uh,
pocket, kind of thing.
right, right. Well, actually, I think about Chris
Yeah.
Round, the
Oh,
guy
yeah,
down in
yeah, yeah, yeah.
DC.
I've talked to him. Yeah,
He does all that like crazy scouting
yeah,
stuff for his
Oh,
athletes.
okay.
I mean, that would be a dream for
Yeah.
him, right? Like you feed in everybody's matches, you know all their
Yeah.
tendencies, like they like to go left here, they go right here, they like this Kosoto, they like this Higashi in these situations, and if you can stay on this angle, like his job would be to create the drills to get them to
Yeah.
respond, right? Like they stay outside like this danger zone.
Maybe that's the economic
But
angle, scouting, then, rather than just
yeah. The
coaching.
thing is, judo is always hard because I feel like in other sports, you have this abstraction called a
Yeah.
ball,
Oh, yeah.
right?
Soccer, it would
And
be a little easier, I guess.
yeah, soccer would be a good one. F1 is already up to the
Yeah.
gills in technology.
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't think they need anybody else's money.
Yeah.
They just they just burn sacks of
Yeah.
money every second. It seems like. But these other sports with the ball, you have the separation. You have so some of these other approaches. I feel like are more they're easier, like
Yeah.
in a way,
Yeah.
right? But even then, if you go to like the Sloan Analytics Sports Analytics Conference, I haven't been recently,
Uh,
but there used to be a lot of talks on like machine learning and
uh,
breaking down plays,
yeah.
all that kind of stuff. And I'm sure people are using it, but I'm not sure it ever met the
I
promise
think
that people were hoping for.
I forget what, man, recently read something interesting. It classifies game, like why Moneyball works so well in certain sports and not. Oh, it was that. Like
Yeah,
why didn't Moneyball work that well in soccer? That was what it was. And
right.
it's because,
It was a very different
yeah,
game.
baseball, it's easy to, it's a very statistics heavy game,
Yeah.
right? Like it's easy,
Turn
it's
based.
turn-based, it's basically easy to keep track. But soccer is
Yeah,
very fluid. There's no turn.
yeah,
And because
yeah,
of that, it's even hard to, you kind of have to have a feel for it, it's that, yeah,
yeah,
so
yeah,
I think Moneyball, the impact wasn't as great.
yeah.
It
Yep.
certainly did help to try to find cheap, good, or
Hmm.
underpriced players, but it
Yeah,
wasn't
right.
to the point where one team, like, like the Athletics, just kind of went to the World Series.
Yeah.
It never happened like that.
I was going to put a challenge out
Yeah.
there to the audience, to any of the ambitious software engineers out
Yeah,
there or
I heard
scientists out
apparently a lot
there,
of
and
software engineers do BJJ judo now. Yeah.
yeah, oh my God, we'll leave that for another
Yeah.
conversation because I'm just this is your mission, I guess, since you're in Silicon Valley,
What is my
you can
mission?
actually find out,
Yeah,
yeah,
oh,
to
my
find out
mission. Yeah,
if it
I'm
is
actually
getting big or
curious. Like
not.
it's like anecdotally I've heard that it's getting more popular in my circle, but
Yeah,
yeah, it's which is very surprising to me because back when I started it, like mid 2000s, like
no,
with wrestling, it was not
no,
a sport for,
attractive
yeah,
thing to
it
do.
was not
Yeah,
an objective thing to do. Yeah, yeah, exactly. It's like I happen to be
yeah.
in Michigan, and then wrestling is very popular in Michigan. That's why I like started doing it.
Oh, did you grow up? You actually grew up
Yeah, I
there?
went to I moved to Michigan when I was 15 from Korea.
Oh, okay. So
So
this is almost like you going home.
yeah, yeah,
With
exactly. Yeah, I still,
holy
yeah, yeah. Like
smokes!
I could reconnected with my high school friends and yeah, all that. Yeah,
Oh, you're
yeah,
such a good guy.
yeah. So
Such a good
yeah,
guy.
I'm a Midwestern
But yeah, I
boy.
was gonna. Yeah,
Well, yeah,
stereotypical
I know.
Midwestern
Like
boy.
who wrestled and I now do judo.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
right. Yeah, I was gonna put out a list of some of these open source packages. I guess I'll still put
yeah.
them
From out, yeah,
into the description and just sort of see. But there's just been so much development in just in machine learning, in this modeling, and now in this sort of neural
yeah,
networks and LLMs that you can't help but and it's like, is it getting cheap enough and widespread enough
yeah,
and understood enough to apply this to not like going to the moon type
yeah.
problems? You know what I mean? But it seems like we're not quite there yet. But you never know. There might be a clever
No,
solution out there that
I
somebody's kicking
wasn't like
around.
trying to say this is like I wasn't trying to be like, oh, it's not there. Yeah, I think this type of constraint actually gives it's a fertile ground for creativity. So
Yeah,
maybe, you have to kind of strike a balance. Like, of course, you can have this whole deal. Maybe if you really want to solve this, maybe this type of crazy approach, learning-based approach should be applied. But the reality is, you have to consider the practicality. And maybe this type of your idea of a kind of like using the physics simulation as a crutch to get the model to some
Yeah.
usable space, and then
Yeah.
kind of
Something useful.
and then get it into that loop of like,
Yeah.
virtuous cycle of improvement. Then
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
people can definitely you should start like that. Yeah.
Well, before we close things down, there is one for our software and technical people
Yeah.
out there. There is one other
Yeah.
idea that you could explore that is far more practical, and I know
Yeah.
is possible right now, and that is the butt.
Yeah.
So if you imagine even someone like Shintaro,
Mhm.
right, and this is something I'm actively messing around with
Mhm.
right now. Shintaro has an inordinate amount of videos on YouTube. And he's also recorded his fair share of an instructional
Yeah.
material, both on his own side and for BJJ fanatics and such. So the idea here would be to create like a Shinbot, right? That would encompass all the material he's ever put out. That's sort of the idea. And people are using these systems, people call them RAG systems or CAG systems or whatever, where you're using an LLM to essentially aggregate, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not really you're doing the aggregating as a developer, but you know what I'm saying. It sort of aggregates all the information on a subject, and you can ask it questions and all that kind of stuff, and it sort of serve as your your consigliere, on a particular knowledge base of material. And so this is something that I'm just sort of messing around with Shintaro's material, just to sort of see how good you can get it. I would never try to simulate Shintaro himself because I think he's too unique
I know.
For that kind of thing. But I could create sort of maybe an autistic, assistant.
Yeah, there's like
that sort of knows everything that he's said and done. And it's sort of interesting. It's sort of working. Right?
Oh, really?
And
what did you use? Which LLM?
Right now I think I'm using Gemini.
Okay.
Right now, like this sort of standard
I
stuff.
see.
I've used all three of them, but just for the context window and stuff, I'm just using Gemini.
I see.
For convenience.
Nice.
But so there's that. But then to take it a step further, for old guys like me who have some income, disposable income, I'm sure many of us have an embarrassingly large library of these instructions, And there are some instructors that you like and some of them that you like but are just you can't bear to watch. I won't name mine by name because I'm sure somebody else would love them. But you know who I mean. So, imagine being able to synthesize and distill everything in your library, but it would be on demand, just in time. You say, hey, I'm having problems from, this position in half guard or, whatever position. And you would have access to the exactly relevant material from your different instructions. Now, practically speaking, it is a lot of work because you got to strip the audio. You got to, some of these transcription packages are amazing. They just like zip, just an hour of audio in a second is transcribed pretty well. So that's pretty amazing. So that's something that you may see. I'll invite you to the repo.
Oh, okay. I'll take a look.
So you can take a look.
So this official. It's like a repository and everything. Yeah.
Oh yeah, we got a repo, baby. Everything's need to be organized in this house. Plus, it's a lot easier when it's digital. If you look at my room, there's socks everywhere. But that's sort of one idea to throw out to people who are technically minded.
Reach out to David.
And very desperate about their own technical development.
I bet this could be a good addition to your resume if you wanna like.
It's too late for my resume.
Oh no, I meant you as in like the audience resume.
Oh for sure. And it would be, and who knows, you can open it up to your best buddies, only your best buddies, because you only, you don't want to spread this stuff around, but a lot of us own a lot of this material, and it's just sitting there because we're just like, I'm not watching this. I'm not going to watch this again. No way. But if you could query it, query it at will.
Why would I ignore the lower half of my body kind of thing,
50% of the body. Why ignore 50% of the body? And it's just hard, man. It's hard to watch hours and hours of material, guys. It's just hard. Just give me the golden nuggets, for God's
Well,
sake.
man's a serious academic, so he has to work within this tightly formulated framework,
Yeah,
that where
yeah,
everything is well defined.
yeah. But the nice thing too would be like if you could take it a step further, just aside from just pure recall,
Yeah.
right? If there are drills or exercises or stuff like that,
Yeah.
you could combine that kind of information and create your own plan, create your own something tailored to you,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. The synthesis
So
will be amazing. Yeah. I'm sure it'll happen.
yeah,
I mean, with just the base LLM, the knowledge already
yeah,
in
it's
LLM.
there.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
technology
Yeah.
is, I think, is there with a little bit of
Extra
extra,
context. Yeah.
spice. Yeah, 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 yeah. You could do it.
Yeah.
I think you could do it.
Maybe this will inspire a lot of people to actually set up this Judo bot or BJJ bot, whatever. Yeah.
It is if you haven't gotten involved with this
Yeah.
stuff for your own personal projects, people, even if you don't know anything about writing,
Yeah.
software, I highly encourage you to check it
Yeah.
out because my wife, who is not technical at all,
Hmm.
has written, I would say, like 3 different applications for her own use.
Oh.
Yeah, in the workplace, like her own like sort of dashboards and stuff. I mean, with a little bit of
Yeah.
coaching from me,
Wow.
because I love my
Yeah.
wife. When you're in a corporate
Yeah.
environment, you don't need to worry about like millions of people serving millions of people. You're just serving yourself
Yeah.
and maybe a few of your
Right.
colleagues.
Right.
So you are you like that old saying about like you are not the user, you are not your
Yeah.
customer. So you need to like think more
Yeah.
broadly. In this case, it is absolutely true. You are the user and you know exactly what you need, you know?
I've,
So I would highly encourage people to check it out.
yeah.
That's my soapbox for today. Thank you everyone for listening. If you're even listening this far, we'll talk to you again
All
soon.
right. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Peter.